Hey everybody, welcome to Stacy's Art Studio and Gardens. I'm starting a new thing I hope everyone's going to enjoy, and I'm going to name it Tea with Stacy. And today, let's see, I need to put the tea in there first. Okay, what kind of tea are we going to have today? Today it's green plum and pear. And this is from the New Mexico Tea Company right here in Albuquerque. And I am not, getting any sponsorship or anything from them. I'm just telling you what kind of tea I'm drinking today. I love these little teapots where you put the tea in the little strainer like this. And then you just put your hot water in there. It smells really good, guys. I like green tea. I like lots of different kinds of tea, as you probably have noticed. But I wanted to start with a little tea with Stacy so we could have chats at the tea. And also I can just tell you a little bit of what's going on, answer questions that I notice that I get. For example, there'll be a video on my face balm. Why did I make it? What is it? How do you use it? That sort of thing. And then I think my next one I'm going to do is the herbs. What are they? But today I just thought I would talk to you a little bit about why I started this journey of all natural things and just how far do I go with all the natural stuff and how I combine it with my art, because they're all my passions. So I just wanted to put all of those passions in one place so that it's kind of organized in my head. The art, I started that long time ago. Most people who are artists started as a child, and everyone is an artist in my mind. I think it just depends on what your interests develop as you age, as you get older, but all kids are artists. So yeah, I started art, when I was a kid, and then I didn't really pursue it. Didn't really think I was an artist until I was I was 30 when I picked up a paintbrush. I used to draw all the time, but I picked up a paintbrush and I painted a whole mural for my son. His whole bedroom just became a jungle. And it was such a great release. It was great fun. I was surprised that I was able to paint the things that I painted and that they looked, kind of like what I thought they should. And that was my first thing. It was a whole bedroom. It was my first painting. And from then on, I just couldn't stop. I just had to paint. And then when my son was in his late teens, I was like, you know what? I think I should just start selling some of these paintings. I have so many of them. And that's where Stacy's Art Studio began. But before that, I had started being basically forced into natural things because if you've watched all the vlogs, you'll know that my son is a leukemia survivor. And after some years, after the treatment, he started having what they call after effects, which is basically damage done to the body by the treatment itself. And while we're all very grateful he doesn't have leukemia and he's alive, these are things that we have to deal with. And one of the things for him was he started not being able to breathe around certain chemicals. And that's another thing we'll talk about on another chat, another tea, is, what do we mean by chemicals? What do we mean by petrochemicals? What are some of these ingredients? I've done lots and lots of research, and I'll show you how you end up going down a rabbit hole researching the name of just one ingredient that you'll find in, common things like lotion or whatever. We'll just do a couple and I'll show you how you trace it down to what it actually comes from. because there's a lot of discussion about chemicals, non-chemical, synthetic, petro, all those kind of things. And we'll talk about that a little bit if you're interested. But, you know, if you're not, just turn me off. Go somewhere else. You don't have to stay. I'm not forcing you. So just hang out if you want to. That's all. So anyhow, he started having a lot of really major health problems around petrochemicals in particular. And so that made me reassess how we live and what to do, because it wasn't just a minor inconvenience. He stopped breathing. That's a big deal. So I started to adjust my lifestyle. I started doing a lot of research. I started thinking about people like my grandmother, who was in the time of industrialization and became dependent on all the things that are made for us instead of making them ourselves. And yet she still had some of those remnants of the people before her, and how she managed her house and how she did her food supply, gardening and canning and all that sort of stuff. But I was thinking, well, what about the people before her? How did they do things? You know, how did they wash their clothes? How did they keep their home clean? How did they take care of their skin? They're beautiful people long ago. How did they do all that sort of stuff? And so that's when I just started doing so much research, finding really old books in any kind of store that I was in. I mainly old, you know, used clothing stores or consignment stores. I really searched those places for herbal books, but mostly making your own stuff books. And then I also did lots of research on the computer and did, you know, went down that rabbit hole on all sorts of things. That was before really I knew about Pinterest. And Pinterest has a lot of really great recipes and things. However, I feel like you do have to adjust them to work for you, because every time I do one, I have to make it a different recipe to make it work, but the basics are there. And so that's where my whole journey began. And that was a little over 10 years ago. I guess it's probably been 11 or 12 now. And it does take time to adjust your life into a natural way. And when I say natural, it doesn't mean that we live out in the woods and just forage and build all our own furniture and stuff like that. And I say, hey, if you can, more power to you. We can't. So we live here in a city. We can't homestead. It's just the way it is. And the kiddo, he has to be close to doctors and all that sort of thing. So there are certain confinements. And also we had to search for a place where he really could live. He could not live in the industrial areas that we were living in. And so that's one of the reasons we came back home here to New Mexico. And Albuquerque is kind of known for some pollution, but it doesn't have an industrial pollution. We also have really good winds all the time, always cleaning the air. We live on the far west side of the city, so we're not actually down in the air. I think the best air quality would be found in Santa Fe, Taos, those areas. The best, they're actually topped as, they're rated as in the top 10 as best air quality are those areas, but we couldn't find a place to live there. So this is where we're at, and he does pretty well as long as we don't have big fires. That's our biggest issue. And I have a pretty good sized piece of property, so I'm able to really focus on what I grow. And I'm just running out of time now, so I'm going to stop it here. And I'll talk more about that another time. And I will see you next time on Stacy. No, see, I keep saying, I'm going to say it wrong for a while. Tea with Stacy. Thanks for stopping by. Be gentle with yourself. There's only one you.